Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tanner Davis and welcome back to another WWE predictions video. Today, we'll be predicting WWE's 2025 Backlash St. Louis match card. As always, please welcome my co-host, one half of Double D's, my twin brother, C-Dave.
Tanner, before we start, I came on here to tell you and everybody watching something. WrestleMania, it was terrible. WrestleMania was cheeks. But now, we're ready for Backlash. I'm ready to cook on this predictions video. We tied for WrestleMania predictions. So I'm ready to win today, because nobody likes C-Dave on the predictions. Hashtag C-Dave can cook. Put it down below in the comments, because I'm ready to have some gold around my waist. It's been a while since I've won one of these. So let's get right into it.
Are you saying it's time for something?
Yeah.
It's time to cue that intro. That was terrible.
They told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear.
Alrighty, with a very underwhelming WrestleMania, we're here with WrestleMania just Backlash. They cut off the WrestleMania after years, so we're back to just it being Backlash for, it's been a few years since they've changed it, but you know, it's the premium live event after WrestleMania. We've only got 5 matches on the card. We're going to get right into it. Our first match for the Intercontinental Championship, your current champion, Dirty Dominik Mysterio versus Penta. Now, speaking of WrestleMania, wasn't that long ago we had a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Braun Breaker putting it on the line against the 2 Judgment Day members of Dominik Mysterio and Finn Balor, and the newly debuted Penta. It debuted just a few months ago on Raw. I believe it was the January 6th Netflix premiere. And the Fatal 4-Way was a pretty good match. Had very good storytelling. We knew Braun was going to come away with the loss. We weren't exactly sure who. The favorite was Dominik Mysterio, and that's exactly what happened. Dominik Mysterio came out with the win and pinned Finn Balor. And so we've got the one-on-one match that happened at Raw just a few weeks ago with Dominik Mysterio and Penta for the IC title. It was in the main event. What happened was JD McDonough returned, who wasn't supposed to return for another few weeks or months or so after busting up his lungs and breaking a few ribs. But JD McDonough ultimately returned and attacked Penta while the referee wasn't looking, helping Dom secure the victory and retaining his Intercontinental Championship. And so we're having a rematch, but this time it's in front of the bright lights of St. Louis. It's Backlash 2025, the premium live event. C-Dave, as you stated, we did tie for the WrestleMania 41 predictions. So what's going to happen is TD went undefeated. Elimination Chamber precedent is already set. If we do tie, we just go to the prior premium live event, whoever won that one. As it was me, I'm going to go with the first prediction, and my prediction is going to be Dominik Mysterio. Reason being, a couple reasons being, is that the Judgment Day could obviously interfere. Finn Balor could help, which is unlikely, but we still have Carlito, JD McDonough, who helped the first time, but that's not my number one reason. Number one reason is Rey Fenix on SmackDown. We need to see both the Lucha Brothers win gold at the same time in the same event or around the same time. Rey Fenix is just not up there yet. He hasn't been built. He's currently being built for the mid-card, but we're not seeing that yet. Obviously, he did lose at WrestleMania against the current WWE Speed Champion, El Grande Americano, but Rey Fenix is getting up there. Just because he lost doesn't mean his momentum has been shattered in any way, shape, or form. And because of that reason, because Rey Fenix is just not up to that level yet as Penta, and we need to see them win gold at the same time so that eventually they'll be able to team up, tag team. We see the Lucha Brothers dominate the tag team division. My prediction is Dominik Mysterio.
My original thought for this match was to completely agree with you. I love this title on Dominik. I think that it suits him very well. I love championship heels, and Dom just does justice to that. But as I got to thinking, I did think of the Lucha Bros winning gold at the same time, but I think you're looking at it just a bit differently than I am. If we go back to WrestleMania, there's one thing about Mania that I think suits Penta winning this 100%. And that is because Rey Fenix competed at Mania. Now, he's still new, he's still being built, but that doesn't mean they have to win titles at the same time. If we look back, we know that there have been champions that have won gold early on in their careers. We can think of a Sheamus, maybe even someone like maybe Rusev now that he's back in the company. I'm going to have to go with Penta because of the sole reason Rey Fenix fought at Mania, the grandest stage of them all. If he did not fight at Mania, I would go with Dominik. But for that reason, my prediction is Penta.
We're heading back to WrestleMania. We had 2 matches on that card. 2 singles matches, one for a championship. One was a Sin City street fight. Jacob Fatu challenged LA Knight for the United States Championship. LA Knight was your current champion at the time. And it was Jacob Fatu that came away with the win. And then you had Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre in the Sin City street fight. And it was Drew McIntyre that ended up winning. What that led to was LA Knight wanting a rematch for his United States Championship against Jacob Fatu. So Drew made an argument that he should be thrown into the hat for the United States Championship match. Nick Aldis said, look, #1 contenders match, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre. Winner faces Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship at Backlash. We had that match. It was LA Knight, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was about to put LA Knight to rest with the Claymore. He was about to count down, and all of a sudden, Damian Priest interfered, disqualification, causing the match to end. That led us to a fatal 4-way match for the United States Championship in St. Louis. Your current champion, Jacob Fatu, versus LA Knight, versus Damian Priest, versus Drew McIntyre.
Nick Aldis making this a fatal 4-way was seen from a mile away. Anybody could have predicted this. Before it even happened, I could tell that these 4 were going to fight for the US Championship. So who wins this? I don't think it's fair to say Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre should be contenders for this championship. Which leads me to believe LA Knight gets his championship back or Jacob Fatu retains. I said earlier that it's very exciting to have that championship heel. And if Dom's losing his, like I predicted, I think Jacob has to keep his. So the winner for this fatal 4-way match, I'm going to have to go with Jacob Fatu.
So WWE has a way of doing things. When you have a very dominant person like Jacob Fatu, they want to throw a bunch of bodies at them to cement their legacy, cement their dominance, especially during title reigns. This is a prime example of exactly that. Jacob Fatu is going to retain and just make his reign that much better by defeating 3 big superstars, megastars if you will, 2 former world champions, and obviously LA Knight is up to that world championship caliber. But Priest and McIntyre, ultimately, they still have some more to go at it. Their rivalry, whatever they have, the beef they got, it's not over yet. It's not over. The dust is still not settled between the two. So they're probably going to have a rematch at SummerSlam. It may very well be for an Undisputed Championship opportunity. Regardless, Jacob Fatu retains. Whoever the next challenger is, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Rey Fenix steps up to bat. Like we mentioned before, if Penta wins, maybe it's Rey Fenix's turn. Rey Fenix defeating Jacob Fatu, I don't see that. Regardless, just throwing that out there. Jacob Fatu. After losing his World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, the ring general Gunther was in shambles. He returned on Raw saying that he just wasn't himself. He wasn't his best self. He ended up tapping to Jey Uso to his own finishing submission move. And the crowd got to him. He ended up snapping, choking out Michael Cole. Pat McAfee jumped into the mix, tried to help Michael Cole and save him. Ultimately, Pat McAfee was on the ground, choked out. Adam Pearce had no choice to suspend the ring general, which after Pat McAfee recovered the next week or maybe 2 weeks after that, I assume it was the next week, came out to the crowd and said, look, I want Gunther one-on-one. I want you to lift his suspension. I want a match right now. Well, Adam Pearce was having a surgical procedure or whatever. He missed Raw that week. Nick Aldis was his replacement. Nick Aldis said, look, I can't lift the suspension, but what I will give you is St. Louis, Missouri, Saturday, May 10th, Gunther versus Pat McAfee. This match is nothing but for build up. This has nothing to do with Pat McAfee fighting for a championship, going into another caliber of the division, going up in the card. This has everything to do with build up and specifically focused on Gunther. This is Gunther's revenge tour to get back up in the world championship picture, to get back up to where the Ring General belongs, and that is at the very top of the company where he dominates. To do that, Gunther's got a long line ahead of him. He's got a ladder he's got to climb. October of 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia, WWE put on their Bad Blood Premium Live event. Gunther went out, talked to the crowd, do his thing, talk trash, whatever, talk about how dominant he was. He was the World Heavyweight Champion. Who was in the crowd? Goldberg. What you're going to see is Gunther snap in this match. He is going to show a side of him that we have never seen before. And Pat McAfee is going to win this match ultimately. Whether that be a disqualification, by interference from Goldberg, it doesn't matter. My prediction is Pat McAfee. Now, with that, the Goldberg retirement tour. I've read articles. Goldberg having a match at SummerSlam. Goldberg, one more match with WWE. Goldberg is going to retire. Who is the one person that they've had any connection with, any ties, anything to go off of so they can build up to SummerSlam, which is only 2 months away? Gunther. Now, I've seen Braun Breaker. Between now and SummerSlam, there's just not enough time. Especially with Braun Breaker in this new thing with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. We're going to see the Ring General and Goldberg at SummerSlam for Goldberg's retirement match. To get there, there has to be build up. Gunther has to show a side of him that we have never seen before. Even worse than he did against Pat McAfee on Raw. The winner of this match, my prediction, ultimately is going to be Pat McAfee.
I genuinely like the Pat McAfee pick here. I think there's a very good chance he's going to win this match. However, Tanner's right. With any connection to Goldberg, it's Gunther. He's the only person that could potentially fight Goldberg as of right now for his last match ever in wrestling. If we look at it, you said Atlanta, Georgia was the place that they met last. There is no way that Goldberg could walk in and distract Gunther. I can't see Gunther being distracted and Pat McAfee winning. He's too smart for that. He's way too smart for that. Tanner's right in the sense that he has to climb back up to the world title picture. For that, you cannot lose back-to-back matches. I could see Goldberg going to St. Louis. Hey, he played football for the Atlanta Falcons. There used to be a football team in St. Louis, the St. Louis Rams. He could just go from football metro to the other football metro. Goldberg could possibly slap Gunther in the face, give a disqualification, and Gunther wins. We could see that. They have to build up that match. Gunther cannot lose this match if he's going to make his way back to the world title picture. For that reason, the Ring General, Gunther wins.
Your inaugural Women's Intercontinental Championship. Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai. Lyra Valkyria won the championship, still your Intercontinental Champion. Last month, had a match versus Bayley for that IC title. Ended up retaining. Her and Bayley teamed up for a #1 contendership gauntlet for the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania, currently held at the time by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Bayley and Lyra started out at #1, all the way to the end, won the gauntlet, faced Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania. That early afternoon, right before WrestleMania started, Bayley was found injured backstage, being attacked. It was like her shoulder, her elbow, somewhere around there, her arm, and therefore was not medically cleared to compete. Who was the mystery partner, the replacement that we didn't find out until moments before the match started? It was the fellow Irish woman, Becky Lynch, which I predicted on Twitter. If you don't follow me on X, Twitter, whatever, Tanner Davis YT, all social medias, go give me a follow. Anyways, Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, defeated Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Tag Team Championships, which was a big surprise return. Hadn't seen Becky since last year's WrestleMania when she lost to Rhea Ripley. So the following Raw, Liv, Raquel, they wanted a rematch. They said, look, it was a surprise. Y'all bumped us in the head. 180 flip. We want our rematch now. And Adam Pearce was like, you know what? I'll give it to you. Why not? Get out of my hair, even though he has no hair. But whatever. We had the rematch. Liv Morgan and Raquel ended up defeating Becky and Lyra. And it was after the match that Becky Lynch turned heel on Lyra Valkyria. And just for the past 2 weeks, Becky Lynch has been coming out, shooting promos, talking how Lyra Valkyria is a trash copycat of Becky Lynch, trying to accomplish everything that Becky Lynch ever did. And so, Becky Lynch challenging Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. There's a history between these two women. They faced in NXT. Lyra Valkyria beat Becky Lynch for the NXT Championship. They're both from Ireland. Lyra Valkyria looked up to Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has achieved all of these great things, and Lyra Valkyria is trying to do the same. See, Dave, which Irish woman reigns supreme in St. Louis, retains, or becomes new Intercontinental Champion?
The more I thought about this match, the more I really wanted to go with Becky Lynch. Because a title on Becky, you can never go wrong with that. But the more I actually thought about it, the more I realized this isn't the stage for Becky to win a title. There is still more matches to come with Lyra and Becky, and the only way to do that is if Lyra Valkyria retains. I think we could possibly see them in the Money in the Bank picture together, one-on-one, maybe a ladder match for the championship at Money in the Bank. Who knows? This is not the stage for the title to change hands, and for that reason, I'm going to have to go with Lyra Valkyria. That's my Irish woman.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Lyra Valkyria's Intercontinental Championship reign has been pretty lackluster, to say the least. She's had big wins against people like Bayley, and with Bayley being injured from Becky Lynch, Bayley could potentially interfere in this match. Whether she does or not, Lyra still wins. How I see it is Bayley interferes, costs Becky the match, sets up a match at SummerSlam, Bayley versus Becky. Winner could potentially move up to the Women's World Championship. Because look, the Raw Women's title picture, it's overdone. It's Rhea, Io, Bianca. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's been Rhea and other people, and now we need some fresh air. We need new women to build up. We need new matches. Becky, Bayley, already decorated women's veterans. Give them a match at SummerSlam, or maybe the live event before that to get a match for the World Championship at SummerSlam. But I digress. Winner for the Intercontinental Championship and still Lyra Valkyria. Just last year at Money in the Bank in the UK, London, England, I believe, in the O2 Arena, John Cena returned for another time to announce his retirement tour throughout all of 2025. What we didn't know is that John Cena would throw a wrench in everything. The biggest swerve of WWE, John Cena's big heel turn at Elimination Chamber on Cody Rhodes was probably the biggest heel turn of all time. Ended up going into WrestleMania, defeating Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Championship that following Raw. Just the night after on Raw, Cena was out talking to the fans as usual, saying that he did this all by himself, he didn't need them, yada yada yada. All of a sudden, Randy Orton comes out of nowhere with an RKO. The SmackDown, they have an exchange. Randy says, look, I challenge you for a match right now, Undisputed Championship, let's get at it. Cena says, no, I want you in St. Louis, Backlash, your hometown, I want you to be ready. And when I defeat you, and you look up at the lights as the ref counts 1, 2, 3, I want to see the tears roll off the cheeks of your wife, your kids, your family, as the last real world champion retains in your hometown. This right here is Cena and Randy Orton's 22nd time facing one-on-one in singles competition. Cena is 13-7-1 against Randy Orton all time. That's 13 wins, 7 losses, 1 tie. What the tie is, I have no clue. Their last match was in 2017 on an episode of SmackDown where Cena won. Cena has won the last 4 meetings between the two in singles competition. Orton has 14 world titles. Could this be his 15th? This match is being billed as John Cena, Randy Orton, one last time. I guess my question to you, C. Dave, is this the last time that we see a match between these two? Not very likely. This is one of John Cena's greatest rivals, especially if him still fighting at a high level. But that's for you to answer. And does Cena win 5 in a row of their last 5 meetings, retaining the Undisputed WWE Championship in front of Randy Orton's family in his hometown? Does somebody interfere? What do we see with heel Cena? Do we see a fair match? What happens, C. Dave? Close us out.
What you forgot to mention, and one of the biggest components of this matchup, John Cena wants to completely erase Randy Orton's legacy. And not only Randy Orton's, but the entire Orton family line. That's his dad. I think his granddad might have.
They said 3 generations.
They said 3 generations. So I guess old man Orton fought somewhere down the line that we just don't know of. But he wants to completely erase Randy Orton's legacy. He said this is the last champion of all time. It's frozen. Everything's frozen. If John Cena wins, he'll be one step closer to completing his task. Now, we get into the situation of John Cena's the heel, Randy Orton's the babyface. The entire time, or most of the time we've seen in the 22 matchups, John Cena's been the face, Randy Orton's been the heel.
Well, 21. This is the 26.
Oh, excuse me. It's funny and ironic at the same time that we're seeing John Cena be the heel. But I want to look back at an old matchup that they had previously. There is in no way, shape, or form that John Cena should physically win this match. Randy Orton is performing at such a higher level than Cena is. So for me, I'd love for Randy to win. That's just not the story. Randy will get his 15th. It will not be at Backlash in his hometown in St. Louis. John Cena, in my opinion, will pull a Randy Orton, slap the ref, and retain the championship. Technically, Randy Orton wins this match. So, my prediction for this match, John Cena retains, but Randy Orton wins.
Yeah, I don't think the nostalgic pull is what you do in a match like this. I think it'd be quite cheesy if they did that, especially in St. Louis at Backlash. John Cena's track record of putting on great matches in the past few years has been little to none. He hasn't had many great matches that we've seen. I couldn't even remember what the last one was. It probably was in 2018 against AJ Styles, to be honest with you. Maybe Roman. Roman at SummerSlam was probably the last great one. You've got to have a good match. You can't have any interferences. You can't have Travis Scott. The fans aren't going to like that. The fans aren't going to like if he retains the title by disqualification with Randy winning. The fans aren't going to like that. You've got to capitalize on the momentum. You have yet to have a great match. This is the biggest match of the year for John Cena in terms of who his opponent is. With all that being said, John Cena is my prediction to win. John Cena is going to retain the Undisputed WWE Championship. Probably go on to hold it for the rest of the year. Randy may be the one to retire him. Who knows? But for the purposes of the predictions video at this moment in time, my prediction, St. Louis Backlash main event, John Cena. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's predictions video. Coming out next week, we're going to have live streams coming back. I hope to get that WWE 2K25 showcase mode stream done. Is there anything else, CJ?
The only thing I like to say is, if you made it this far in the video, comment below, hashtag #CDaveCanCook with a frying pan emoji at the end.
Or don't, because he's not going to win this predictions video. I'm going to go flawless. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Hope you have a safe, fantastic, and amazing rest of your day. As always, my name is Tanner Davis, alongside my twin brother, co-host, one half of WD, C. Dave. We will catch you in the next predictions video. Goodbye.
Got him.